Hello, welcome to the latest ISPA Insights video, bringing you valuable insights from the booming broadband sector. I'm Andrew Kernahan, Head of Public Affairs at ISPA, and today I have the pleasure to welcome John Irvine, CEO at WightFibre, and Niall Robinson, who leads ODM partnerships at Plume. For those that don't know, ODM stands for Original Design Manufacturer. Well, thank you both for joining us today to speak about ISP customer experience. Before we dive into the theme and I start throwing some questions your way, it would be good to quickly introduce yourselves. Maybe, John, you could start and introduce WightFibre, please.
John Irvine, CEO at WightFibre, just celebrated my 10 years at WightFibre the other week. WightFibre is a full fibre operator serving the Isle of Wight. We are halfway through an 80,000 home rollout, all full fibre, deploying a point-to-point network topology, so best possible product for our end customers. And Plume is an integral part of our customer offering. We install Plume in every single customer install.
Thank you, John. You're also a valued ISPA member as well, should add.
Yes.
And Niall, you're a valued ISPA partner, but can you introduce Plume, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So Plume, we've built the first SaaS experience platform. We focus on the consumer, the small business, and we provide that platform to CSPs like WightFibre here, one of our very early customers. And that platform gives you the ability to launch new, innovative services to WightFibre's customers, for example, at a massive scale, and very rapidly.
Thank you. I know you've been working together for several years, and we'll explore that in the questions to follow. But yeah, really today's theme is around the customer in the changing broadband market. As we all know, there's increased competition. Consumers are demanding, rightly, faster, secure, and flawless connectivity. So John, just to start with you, I believe you recently announced your 10,000th customer. How have you managed this?
Yes, we have indeed. There are only 80,000 homes on the island. We only passed 35,000 of them. So to have 10,000 of them signed up already when we're competing against the national operators is very good news for us. How have we done that? It's in our company logo, actually, because we care. We added that to our logo in 2015. We have an embedded ethos in the business around caring for our customers, and actually not just our customers, but our employees, each other, but also our island and our island community. And I think that does a couple of things. First of all, we built a brand here on the island that people trust and have come to regard well. But then we actually really, really do care about our customers. And we have really high net promoter scores. That's been independently validated. Recently, we've just become the first broadband company to be given the Institute of Customer Service Mark with Distinction accreditation, one of only 16 companies in any sector in the UK to have that. And, that was a 3-year journey with an intense focus. Every single employee in the company has a customer care responsibility. That, and of course, then competitive products. So full fiber, synchronous upload and download speeds. And then we add Plume to the mix, which solves all of our customers. We embarked on this initially to solve Wi-Fi coverage problems. It does that in spades and allows us to resolve any customer problems very quickly. So combination of building a great brand and delivering a great service.
Thank you. You've touched on their customer care and its importance, and you mentioned the award and the hard work that went into that. Can you dig a bit deeper into what that means for you individually, but also the company? How does customer care feel? ISPs always talk about customer care.
Yeah, for us, it's embedded, because we care. It's in our logo. I say in our all hands meetings, and we have our vision and mission statement, which talks about caring. And I tell people, if you don't care, then you shouldn't be here. This isn't the company for you. So it really is that embedded in the company ethos across the whole company, and empowering people to do the right thing for the customer. We have some wonderful customers. We have some quite difficult customers, but it's about doing the right thing for them and delivering them the best possible service.
Lots of talk at the moment about premises passed versus actual customers. You have some quite impressive figures on that, just looking at the numbers. What's most important to you to get there? Is it things like pricing? Is it flexibility of contracts, value add? What do your customers look for, do you think?
There's no single answer to that question. So multiple demographics. So we do have customers who buy purely on price. We've had customers who churned full fiber customers with synchronous full fiber 100 meg who've gone back to VDSL services on OpenReach purely on price. And really that's about, there's no killer app for full fiber yet. So our time will come on that score. So we compete on price, but we compete on our localness. So that's an increasing concern amongst people, particularly in the context of climate change and the environment, and coming out of COVID had an impact on customer attitudes there. So localness is a big thing. Customer service, of course, and then having the right product. So we don't compete. We don't go rock bottom pricing like Vodafone. We have a small premium to Vodafone. I think as we speak, Vodafone are at £18 for VDSL2. We are at £22.95 for 100 meg. And so, small premium, but not a huge premium. So we don't go rock bottom, and there's no question that does lose us some customers. But our market share, particularly in our original areas, so the first areas we rolled out full fiber, we're already knocking on a market share of 50%. And when you consider we're a small local brand competing against, BT, Sky, PlusNet, Vodafone, TalkTalk, that says we've got something right.
Yeah, that is interesting, and an interesting point on pricing there. Obviously, FTTP is regarded as the gold standard, therefore probably comes at a slightly higher price. How does working with the likes of Plume help you to, I suppose, in a way, justify higher prices and give people that gold standard service in return?
Plume does two things. It improves the customer experience. So the customer interchangeably uses the phrase Wi-Fi and broadband when they call us up. My Wi-Fi is broken, my broadband's broken. They don't see a difference. And long gone are the days of a service provider being able to say, well, we're delivering you 100 meg to the router, the rest of it's your problem. Customers want more now, and quite rightly, it's all part of the same service. So Plume does two things. It extends Wi-Fi reach within the home with multiple pods, as many as you want. And the second thing it does, it gives us the most incredible insight into the customer's home network environment. So literally as simple as the customer calls up and says, my TV was working fine 5 minutes ago and it's just stopped working, but everything else is working. We have enough insight there to see, actually in the first instance, whether the TV was connected 5 minutes ago or whether it wasn't. So, we can see through the customer's diagnosis and make our own diagnosis. And, and through a combination of the metrics that are provided via Plume, we can typically come up with a solution. We in the days of sending a customer engineer out to fix a customer's Wi-Fi problems are, it's few and far between. The only real issues we get are when customers move their Plumes around and, causing them to lose connectivity with each other or to reduce their performance. And so most of our truck rolls now are around positioning Plumes in the right place on behalf of the customer.
Thank you, John. And Niall, just picking up on that, it seems that data is increasingly key to customer service. How does Plume help providers like WightFibre? I mean, John's touched on some of it, but how do you use data to improve the customer experience?
Yeah, so data is very important. It's a critical part of the Plume solution. A simple example is our cloud-based solution, right? All the smarts of the Plume system live in the cloud. John's got 10,000 homes, which is a fantastic achievement, but he's part of a pool of homes, right, that are all managed by our cloud. The pool is over 36 million homes large right now. And so the cloud learns not just how to manage John's customers from John's customers, but also from those other 36 million homes. And that's how we bring all of that combined smarts to improve the experience that John's customers are having. And hopefully, they never call him. I mean, that's the ultimate one, right? The support lines go quiet. So that's just one way we use data that we gather across all of our homes, all of the devices that we manage. Somebody comes out with a new version of iOS, for example, on an iPhone. Maybe it changes the way the phone behaves, inside the home in terms of connecting to the Wi-Fi. Well, we learn that very quickly. The cloud adapts to the new iOS release to give the best customer experience, and it gets rolled out very quickly. So John's customers benefit from that very large pool of homes that we manage.
Do you think providers are using data to its full potential at the moment?
I think there's more to be done. So we do. One of the things we do is very advanced device typing. Right. So, anybody would tell you that, your laptop or the laptop I'm talking to you on right now needs a very different type of Wi-Fi connection compared to my printer, for example, right, which needs a lot less latency and throughput and everything else. So we actually understand exactly what devices are inside a customer's home, and we build the Wi-Fi network in the home to match the needs of those devices. And that's part of what we can provide, to John's support team. The ability to say, yes, I see your TV. Yes, I can see that it was working fine. And yes, this is what's happened to it. Right. So that's part of the value they're extracting already today. But as we look across the whole host of devices that we see, we think there's a lot more value to be extracted to help John understand his customers better, for example, maybe to help him market to a specific set of customers that match the ones that he's been signing up, right, to find those customers and market to them. So there are many other ways that we can bring value out of the data, and that turns into actually a monetary value as well for our CSPs.
Yeah, no, that is really interesting. And just back to that customer point, how easy is it for the customer to engage and configure Plume devices? John, you mentioned most of the calls you get nowadays are from people that move their equipment. So how does it work for the customer?
Plume give us an app called Home Pass. Works on a smartphone, and the customer uses that app to control their own environment. So they don't get the same level of diagnostics in terms of channel numbers and frequencies and data throughputs to each device and between SuperPods. But they do get a traffic light system, red, amber, green, that lets them know if it's healthy or if it's unhealthy. They use the app to manage their parental controls, to implement their internet freezes when they want to bump their teenagers off their gaming console. Some of the new features on Plume are around home security, so motion detection when you're not at home and sending you alerts. So all of that's configured in the Home Pass. And we're just about to see version 2 of that app actually deployed this month. We've had a preview. It's a very significant upgrade to version 1, which our customers were already pretty happy with. So we can see, new features, new functionality come along with that Home Pass, and it is all part of customers these days who want to do things for themselves. They don't want to have to call you up. One of the things we're partway through implementing, we've been running at it for a number of months now, is the opposite, where one of the things we get out of Plume is a customer experience score, one for the whole customer environment, LAN environment, but also on specific individual devices, the customer experience score. And that score drops below a certain threshold, which we can set. That will automatically send a message to our case management system and raise a case against that customer and let us proactively go check out that customer and see if there's something that we can do and something we can help with. So it's early days for that yet. We're not really fully automated the whole process, but the capabilities there. And since we engaged with Plume several years ago, we're just about to launch the small business equivalent of that called WorkPass, aimed at small and micro businesses. It's been held up because, like everyone else, we've suffered from the world chip shortage. So the hardware has taken 9 months to arrive rather than 3 or 6. But that's just the start of a whole raft of business-focused products services that Plume are delivering for us now. I'm not being paid for this. I am a Plume evangelist because it really has been transformational for us in our ability to serve our customers. Our truck rolls for problems are down by 3/4. Our case days has gone from average case days has gone from over 2 to less than 1. So that says we're solving our customers' cases.
And such what's interesting is the market's undergoing huge change at the moment. Lots of new market entrants, such as WightFibre. I know you've been around for a fair while, John, but I think that the move to FTTP has taken place relatively recently, and we're seeing that across the country. Niall, what kind of opportunity do you think is there for Plume to work in partnership with the established names, but also these scores of new entrants that are building infrastructure and connecting customers? What's the opportunity for you, and do you see yourselves as part of that new, I suppose, broadband revolution that we're seeing in the UK?
I certainly hope so. We see ourselves as part of that. What John really invested in, right, when he and his team decided to move forward with Plume was a platform, right? A platform that he can use for multiple aspects of engaging with his customer. Whether it's on the customer service side that we've talked about, whether it's on regarding new services that he wants to bring to those customers, whether it's new markets he wants to open, it's all the same platform. His team will be using the exact same tools for the small business rollout that he's been using for the home pass rollout for his residential customers. And so that's where I think we can bring value to other companies that are just getting going. We've invested a significant amount of engineering time and money building this platform, right, and able to grow it to a massive scale. But it suits any size customer, right, from somebody that's just starting to somebody that's already well established and maybe has a larger footprint. But that's really the investment. When we say it's a consumer experience management platform, that's really the focus point. And as I said, building on top of that platform, we're just getting started with the services that we want to bring out. That one of the services that John just mentioned, that ability to look across his whole customer base and identify for his team, customers that are in trouble, let's say, right? They're having a poor experience. That just automatically changes the conversation that WightFibre can have with their customers instead of waiting for the phone to ring. Imagine if your service provider called you up and said, "Oh, we see we're having a problem. Can we help?" I'd probably fall over, right? That's the goal, right? Is to change that conversation, to change that customer expectation of their experience with their service provider.
Yeah, I think customer service in the sector has improved greatly in recent years, but I suppose it's starting from a point where it's a technical product and people don't necessarily understand it, and therefore they have low expectations sometimes of their provider. And I think that's changed and is changing, thanks in part to what you guys are doing together.
It's changing, Andrew, but actually, as members of the Institute of Customer Service, I have some insight into the customer satisfaction survey that they run twice a year. Telecoms is still 11 out of 13 sectors, 11th. So it's getting better, but it's still not good.
Yes, and it feels like with partnerships like this, new technology, new services, it will be a very different picture in, say, 5-10 years' time, particularly with the new infrastructure that's in place. And I think a lot of the challenges and the regulations that have come up to try and fix that may not be applicable anymore because things are working better, thanks to all the hard work and investments of yourselves. Anything else you'd like to raise about or suggest that you guys have been working together on that we haven't touched on so far? I didn't actually call it Plume Signal, did I, Niall? But this proactive
notification to our case system. We're really looking forward to exploiting that and getting going with it. That to me is, as you've just outlined, the next big change, the next big change for us.
Yeah, I think the focus for tools like Signal is reducing churn, right? Reducing that reason for the customer to leave. WightFibre works very hard to win those customers, right? To compete against all of those other folks, operating on the island. And once you've got that customer, you want to do everything you can, which is why I love the WightFibre model, right? It's so much focused on customer care because they want to keep those customers, want to keep them happy. They want to keep them as long-term valued customers of WightFibre. We often talk about how to monetize, managed Wi-Fi, et cetera, and sometimes it's not just about, well, can you charge a few more pounds a month, for example? But no, it's can I keep that customer for 2, 3, 4, 5 more years than I normally would have done, right? If I had not, that's worth far much more money to WightFibre than just a few more pounds a month.
Yeah, I mean, we don't charge our customers for Plume. We charge them if they want a whole home Wi-Fi guarantee and multiple Plumes. But I think less than a quarter of our customers take multiple Plumes, partly because they don't need them if they live in if they live in a smaller property. But I think the key is we took the decision, WightFibre took the decision to deploy this technology without charging the customer because of the benefits to us. Our churn rates are way below what's in our business model, which were already, our churn rates historically have been low. They're even lower now, and that is a combination of, it's one thing to give the customer, this is what I used to say, why give a customer 900 meg symmetrical broadband if when they're in their bedroom, they're still only getting 10 meg? And so we give whole home Wi-Fi for free to those 900 meg and 500 meg customers. So they're paying for it in the higher tariff for the higher speed, but it's not a distinct separate charge. If you're giving customers that sort of broadband, give it to them everywhere in their home, not just in their living room.
I think I maybe take you back to my point about sort of gold standard. And if you have gold standard infrastructure, you kind of need the gold standard services on top of that to really realise the benefits. Thank you for that. Any last points you'd like to make?
Along the lines of the thoughts on helping some of the smaller altnets getting started, I'm going to ask John here. Your team worked pretty closely with our delivery team, right, to help you get set up and get started. Maybe your experiences there of taking on this platform and getting it up and running. Hopefully, our delivery team and our customer service team that then supports you post launch, giving you an ability to not only get to market quickly, but also take full value of the Plume solution as part of your business.
Yes, I'd say the onboarding and deploying Plume was not particularly onerous for us. As you say, everything is cloud-based. So, for a customer service agent, it's an additional log-on that lets them go delve into the customer's environment. The Plume system has APIs, so it lets us pull out into our CRM. So a customer calls in or an agent is looking at a customer account. Presented inside the case is customer experience score and average of their last 7 days speed tests. Because one of the things that Plume does for us that we really like is constantly doing speed tests. So we have a history of customer speed measurements that let us also check that the customer is getting the speed they deserve. So the training bill wasn't heavy because the interface is fairly straightforward for the customer service agent. The tier 2, tier 3 interface gets much more complicated, but even there, the training bill wasn't high to get people up to speed on it. And I think we've had some fraught moments with hardware supply during the pandemic, and even though a couple of times it went right to the wire, Plume were very helpful in ensuring that we didn't actually run out of hardware and that we had sufficient supply to carry on installing. Our rate of customer acquisition is accelerating as our rollout extends, and literally we would have ground to a halt had the supply of plumes dried up. So thanks again, Niall, for all your help last summer.
Well, thank you both. That was a very interesting half an hour of discussion. Can clearly see the fruitful relationship between you two, and I'm sure that will continue as both grow. So this calls me to say thanks again for joining. This is the latest instalment of the ISPA Insights. Stay tuned for further interviews and videos across the year. Thanks again. Goodbye.